security verse. It says here that you may know that you have eternal life. It didn't say hope so, guess so, or maybe, right. It says that you may know that you, what? Have, present tense, eternal life. So that's the purpose of the writing of 1 John, I believe. Now, when we go through this book, John also wrote the book to defend the faith. We'll get into this in just a few minutes. To defend the faith and to strengthen the church against false teachers. He's still going to talk about false teachers as he did in Jude, 3rd, and 2nd John. It's still there in front of him. The false teachers are still there in the church. They're still there doing their thing. So he has to mention it in 1 John. So he's going to defend the faith. He's going to strengthen the church against false teachers and heretical doctrine. John confronted the first stages of the same heretical teaching that Paul often had to confront, the beginning of Gnosticism. Gnosticism hit the church heavy during this time period. Gnosticism says that the human body was evil. That's the basic doctrine of Gnosticism, that the human body is evil. And this teaching resulted in two different attitudes towards the body and life. And that's what you have to understand in this epistle. Gnosticism was prevalent. Some said the body needed to be disciplined, controlled, taken care of as much as possible. There's nothing wrong with that. By controlling its urges, its appetites, by keeping it in good shape, the corruption and evil of the body could be mastered more easily. See, remember, the body's evil, Gnosticism. So because it's evil, you got to keep it in shape, you got to keep it under control, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have nothing against that. But others said what was done with the body mattered little. There's two thoughts of Gnosticism. All right? Others thought, hey, the body matters little, for since it's evil and it's doomed to die anyway, so you may as well what? Eat, drink, live it up, be merry, because the body's going to die. So there's the other extreme. One says keep it in shape. The other says, why? You say the body's evil. I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to eat, drink, be merry. I don't care what they say. It's evil. What's the sense? The body's evil. I must have a good time. And so what happened, these two thoughts started to enter the Christian church at that time period. See, each person needs to give attention to the spiritual side of his condition. Okay, the body we watch out for, but the most important part is the spiritual. You can have a fit body, you could be a Mr. Universe, but if you're not saved, it's not going to do any good. That's why Timothy said, you know, bodily what? Exercise profits nothing. He says, you can pump iron all day long, but if you're not saved, it's not going to profit you a thing. Spiritually. All right? Each person gives attention to the body. So what happened, nothing really, to bring it into modern time, nothing's changed, has it? Gnosticism's still here. We have in the church those who say, what? Keep your body in shape, exercise. You know, you have the people that, you know, promote the health, you know, the food, good health food and the vitamins and this and that, and you have that today. And what's happening here? You have to keep the body in shape, but you have to be careful that you don't go overboard. There must be a balance. You can't have the idea, eat, drink, be merry, I don't care either. You can't have that. So there's got to be a balance here. All right? Now, what the spiritual side of this, with these two attitudes, is this. In the church, some have the belief, well, if you just baptize, go to church, do the rituals, worship here and there, I think I'm in pretty good shape spiritually. But that's not true, is it? No. And what they do is, since they think they get baptized, they come to church, they do all of this worship, and then when they leave church, what do? They go out, they eat, drink, be merry, because they think that they're covered. That's Gnosticism theology. That's what, hey, I'll do my thing in church, and then, hey, I'm covered. I've been baptized. I joined the church, and, I'm doing all these rituals. I worship God every now and then. I'll pop in a Sunday here, and maybe skip one, and pop in a Sunday here. And then the rest of the week, I can go out there and eat, drink, be merry, and do anything I want. Nothing changed. And what happens, when you have all these rituals, it makes them think they are accepted by God. And it makes them think that they belong to the church. But none of these rituals bring anybody closer to God. So what happens? When it comes to the church, there is this. There is, how am I going to put this? Two lifestyles. When you walk into any church, I don't care if it's fundamental church, I don't care if it's a Baptist church, I don't care what kind of church it is. There's always two lifestyles among the body. And these two lifestyles are this. Either you're going to be spiritually strong, and also physically fit. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? And that's a good side. But there's also another side of the body, and that's where they come in and they think they can do all this worship and do all of this ritual, and then they walk out and they what? They live like the devil the rest of the week, but they think they're covered. And so that's the lifestyles that we have. You ever notice that in the church? Sometimes it boggles our minds. We see it all the time, don't we? They come in, they worship, and then they walk out, and then and if you happen to pop into them and see them during the week, and you see what they do, you scratch your head and go, man, what's going on here? They come and worship, and then look what they're doing. Their lifestyle is not the same when they walk into the church as when they go out of the church. It's not the same. It's different. Mike.
Talk about sanctification. Some people believe that you are sanctified by works.
Yep.
You have to keep doing works in order to be sanctified. Other people just believe by going to church that is where they're holy.
Okay.
Kept to be holy. It seems today, though, there's a lot of, there's an on and off switch with a lot of Christians. It's what we're doing in our community, in our job, where we work, people we work with. Sometimes we can't witness to them. The opportunity isn't there. It's very difficult in today's society. In certain work environments, people just don't want to hear it. They'll tell you everything about themselves, but to get in, a word about Christ is much more difficult.
Yes. Yep.
So there are some of us that I think God is in our minds all the time. And some people, sometimes I look at some of my kids, I just wonder where God is with them. Where is He?
Yeah.
The decisions they make.
Yeah. Yep.
I have a question.
Sure.
Do you think it's in part this mindset, especially again with the youth, that they go to church and then they just live wild lives? Do you think in part it's also failure on us as Christians? We're not doing enough one-on-one and personal discipleship within the church. We just get people saved and bring them to the Lord. And
yes. That
let them go on their way.
Yeah, that, and also